Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We are excited to be hosting this webinar. We're going to give it a couple minutes. Everyone, come on in. Cannot believe Halloween is in 2 days. Good Lord. But we'll be starting in just a minute here. Love it. Seeing people coming in. See some partners. Welcome, welcome. See some new names. Welcome, welcome. Love it. All right, y'all. I want to make sure we are always incredibly just respectful of your time. As a former boss of mine said back in my print days, PST, precious selling time. We're going to get this underway and really excited about today's webinar because it's the girls, right? Last month it was Ben and Ken who had some really great content, but I tell you what, the ladies are here and in matching black sweaters, turtlenecks, matching practically glasses. We did not plan this. As my daughter would say, it's a vibe. So I hope you're vibing with us. Let's get into it. My name is Elizabeth Bernberg. I'm the Senior Director of Business Development here at Adcelerant. And today the webinar is about stop leaving money on the table, making sure you are taking that whole marketing share in the marketplace with your advertisers and really diving into a lot of the support and elements and solutions that will help you win that entire budget. And I am joined by the lovely Ms. Brooke Nevels. She is our business development manager. So the two of us are going to be showing you some, the good stuff, as I like to say. We are recording today's webinar and we strive to make this as conversational as they possibly can be. So please, during today's webinar, for any questions that you might have, or hey, what about this? Please feel free to use that chat feature or Q&A feature in Zoom. Would love to be able to address any questions that y'all might have during our time together. And lastly, before we get into it, follow us on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Snapchatty, TikTok, all the things. I joke on TikTok, but we're there. We're always sharing some really great information. The team is always up to some good stuff, supporting the media industry at large, and really most importantly, helping our partners support local media, helping our partners support local businesses in your marketplace. So definitely be sure to check us out. But all right, we are not gonna be leaving any money on the table. We are going to plan for year-end success. We're going to plan for 2025 success by maximizing that share. And it's going to start with account executive preparation. So we're going to dive into tools and resources, pre-sales, to really understand and make sure you're leveraging to arm your sellers with the right intel and information to drive those conversations with your advertiser. We're going to shimmy over to categories. Who's spending money where? What kind of seasonality do these categories have? Who should we be having our eyes on right now as we round out Q4, goodness, and we start, of course, planning for next year. We'll go into understanding the product mix and, of course, go back to that lovely sales funnel. You know we love it. We talk about it all the time. I think we show it on so many of our webinars. It is crucial, right? And understanding that customer sales journey and what solutions really match up to achieving the goals and objectives of the client. So understanding that product mix, and then we'll round out with post-sale must-haves from conversion tracking, pixel placement, reporting, and of course, Q&A. But let's Let's have fun. Let's get into this overview of AdCellerant. And I know there's so many partners on this call. We are so glad you joined us. And I know this is repetitive for maybe some of you, but there are a lot of newbies on the call as well. So I want to be sure we touch on who AdCellerant is, what we're all about, and how we go about supporting our media partners in the digital landscape. So AdCellerant, first and foremost, we are a technology company and a digital marketing company. And our goal, our mission, our tour de force, if you will, is to make the complexities in this space as simple, as approachable as possible. And we're able to do that through our technology, our customer service, the training and education that we have, and the amazing operational support. So while our tech is legit and super cool, our people are that much cooler. So it's still a people working with people business. We're based in Denver, Colorado, and we love it here. We're about 200 team members strong, and we've built out an amazing tech suite that oversees the entire digital sales process, from sales enablement, account management, campaign management and execution, all the way over to reporting. So we are a white label provider, really helping our partners grow revenue, right? And support that local SMB in the marketplace and support their sustainable model, support their efforts in connecting with customers. Last slide on us, products, all the tools, all the tactics that you can possibly think of. We're actually going to touch on a couple of these and fantastic tools and resources that tie back to some of these solutions that you can lean into when you're having conversations with your clients. So this is who AdCellerant is, but I am going to pass it to Brooke. I've just been talking here right now. I'm going to pass it over to Brooke. She's going to start us off in terms of using the tools, using the resources. So Brooke, let's get into it. Tell us about some of the resources and tools that partners could be using, should be using, and what that looks like for them.
Yes, thank you, Elizabeth. So, really diving into those resources that everyone should be using, making sure that you have done your research on your client as well as what their competition is doing is going to be pivotal in securing clients. And there are so many available resources to help you. So, first of all, you can look at their Facebook, their LinkedIn, their Google, and directories. What is their social media presence like on Meta? Do they have a job opening on LinkedIn? When you Google the client, what's happening with their Google business profile? Is it up to date, or does it have a phone number on there that maybe doesn't work anymore? Clients don't know what they don't know, and you can give an example of a truly organic experience. I know for us, eMarketer is also a great preparation with high level guides to just industry trends, which clients are always going to be interested, like what's the market looking like? And we'll dive into more industry trends in a little bit. And I know here at AdCellerant, again, we use so many data sources like eMarketer, like Burrell, SEMrush, Nielsen, that make sure that we know what's going on with the client, but also with competition. Some of these even have free portals, and all are great to arm yourself with insight and focus really on the client, which is huge. We always want to be focusing on that client. So if y'all, of course, have any more examples of tools you use, feel free to throw them in our chat. And then for our next topic, we're going to talk about is going to be my personal favorite, which is coming to calls prepped with audits. So SEO and SEM audits allow you to see the current digital footprint of a client and make recommendations. It shows that you took the time to dive deep for that advertiser and see for what and where they're showing up online and etc. So many times clients are not even aware of what they need, and they need these audits to give them kind of a synopsis, if you will. So if you take a quick, let's say, local SEO audit to your call, which shows their Google business profile isn't correct, this can really help write that story of what the client needs. So local SEO, instead of it just seeming like you may be randomly choosing products for them. It's kind of deciding itself. So same thing goes for organic SEO and SEM. Like they're going to be a little bit more in depth, of course, but what keywords are they showing up for is another great topic. So this all leads back, I would like to say, to being consultative, but always backed by data. So there's not a one size fits all solution. I know Elizabeth and I will, you'll hear us say that a lot. And showing audits shows points of growth for the client and shows how you're going to get them traction to their website, which at the end of the day, every client wants to see that traction to their website.
Exactly. And that's their, their website is their brick and mortar online. So being armed with some of this information proactively in a conversation, that's going to immediately put you ahead from a sales perspective from any of the competitors because you've taken that initiative, that initial step to learn about the client's business, to provide them with intel that they could use right then and there before talking about a media plan, right? Before talking about a marketing strategy. You immediately are setting the stage to be a consultant, which is absolutely going to open the door for you getting that entire share of that budget.
Yes, absolutely. And kind of honing in again on that storytelling and diving into more data that backs that. There are so many pre-sale tools. I know here at Accelerant, we love to offer tools like those complimentary audits we were just talking about as part of partnership because they build credibility coming into a client-facing call. Another one is going to be what's listed here, which is an audience insight report. One of the most important things that a client wants to know is who do we need to be selling to? Who is our target audience? That way we can drive campaigns to that group. Audience insight reports, which again are another pre-sale tool, is going to bring that kind of targeting data and it's going to help create that story. So there is no wasting of your time, looking at many different resources to gather data. This is going to uncover what drives engagements and conversions all in one very transparent report. Now, this is one that I consider one of the most important pre-sale tools to really set yourself up for success on calls, which is going to be bring case studies and sales materials. First thing you want to do is always review products, in our case in the Accelerant Academy, to make sure you're always ready to answer questions. But like we always say, just to be dangerous enough.
Yeah.
The more that you know about a product just on the go, the more you most likely will be able to sell it. But again, we'll talk more about how you don't have to be a complete digital, guru on every product we sell. We just want to make sure that you're dangerous enough. And again, that'll always help you in most cases to sell more of that product, the more you know. And I would always say to bring pre-made packages and industry trends to your call, which again, we will discuss those in just a bit, but we've already made them for you. So save your time, use a lot of these packages that we've created, that we've, researched the industry to create for you. Most importantly, though, I would say is to arm yourself with those case studies. So people want to see proof and performance and in real world examples with exact data. So I actually, we included an example case study on our next slide that includes a lot of the topics that we're talking about. So if I have a real estate investment group and I say, hey, we've used these products to target these people and we had a 55 times return on ad spend and closed 140K in revenue, that's going to get the people going way more than just saying, hey, I work in the real estate industry and they are very successful. Proof in the pudding is huge, but always presenting it well is going to be another huge component of that.
Absolutely. I can't talk about case studies enough. I'm a former Accelerant partner. I'm a former print gal. I'm a former broadcaster. And the case studies made such a difference for my team to really create that sizzle with either a current client, right? How can we go after more dollars? Let's give them, Brooke, like you said, that proof of performance, right? What has worked well for other like advertisers? But this was also a game changer for starting new business conversations, right? This was a hook. This is a valid business reason to connect with an opportunity, a client that you've maybe never spoken with, give them data that is relevant to them. You're not calling saying, hey, I've got a great special section or I've got a great sponsorship for this event. It's not about us, right? You're making these connection points with the case study. It's still about the client. It's always about the client. So I cannot just talk about case studies enough, especially from a tool standpoint, and also even a roadmap, right? This can also even help you as we continue on today's webinar. This could be a great guideline for products to maybe use if your client has the same similar goals and objectives, right? We might need to make some tweaks here with the budget or based on the geography, we're going to do this here. But this also helps give you an initial framework too of what are really good, product blends and a good strategy for your client.
Yeah, totally. It's always we want to see what someone just like me did in the industry and how did that succeed. So again, case studies, we have a whole bunch of them all white labeled and ready to go. So definitely lean into those. And lastly, but not least, for pre-sales, bring in the experts. So bring in the experts for reporting and sales calls. Here at AdSee, if you have an AdSee expert on a call, we've gathered the data and you are actually 30% more likely to close that sales call. That's a good statistic. Like I'm into that one. Anytime I have 30% more chance of closing, like I'm in. So we want you to lean in on us as, your wing people, if you will. And now that it's not just about sales calls, though, also those reporting calls, a lot of great things happen on reporting calls. So bring in a team member or, one of the specialists that we have to speak to analytics, to dive into detail. And frankly, again, just to be a wing person on the call. That's sometimes, just an assistance in itself, and let them the specialist that you have on the call, you can let them be the digital expert. Again, we want you to be dangerous enough, but it actually even helps you from a training perspective to have someone on the call, because you can listen to maybe the vernacular that they use, see if there's some points that you're like, oh, like I want to say that on my next reporting call. And it really just overall helps to, again, have that backup that we've come to see. Elizabeth, I feel like you have a lot of experts on your calls.
Well, because I need them. I need that support. I can only be dangerous enough too, right? And I've been in this space for a long, long time, but that's such a great call out right there. This is still a people business. It's still people working with people. We work with our partners. You are working with your clients. And at the end of the day, that is helping you continue to solidify your relationship with your advertiser, to double down on the trust, right? And to continue to further support their marketing efforts and also win that business, right? Win that budget. So this to me is like full circle, because it always goes back to people supporting people, businesses helping business. And, especially here at AdSeller, we've got the people to do that. And thank God they're here. People don't want me talking on an SEO call. That's when you need Sam and Trevor and Elisa and our amazing team. But the experts do some great stuff.
Yes, totally. And yeah, so now that we got that pre-sale prep down, let's chat like where's a good place to start and kind of go from here.
Totally. Categories, industries, where are we fishing, right? Speaking of sources and tools, eMarketer, ding, we love eMarketer, lots of great intel. And of course, this is from a macro level, right? This is looking at the entire United States in terms of digital ad spending growth by industry. And some of these should really pop out to you. Think about your own pipeline right now. Think about your own book of business, your own marketplace. Hey, what does our financial services, account base look like? We're going after a lot of, the banks and the credit unions. What does our automotive book of business look like? Retail, healthcare, right? So this is kind of, again, foundational from a categorical standpoint, but it's incredibly important to understand also categories that are resonating at a micro level. So we put together our list. So this is what we're seeing on our side from our partners, right? And from markets of all sizes across the United States. These are the majority of the categories that we're seeing with the insertion orders, and that they're growing their digital revenue, right? So real estate, we showed you that case study already. Professional services, legal, insurance, financial services. We're in open enrollment time, right? We're also getting ready for, probably a lot of people are starting to get ready for taxes, budgeting right now, before next year. There's a lot of that happening. So professional services are huge. Electronics, home and family, political. And yes, the window is closing. I know we're all going to have a sigh of relief when this is all over and done next week. But there are a lot of even other political like campaigns, even on a local level, that have a different timeline. Think about your superintendent for a school district or local offices for mayor or other candidates, right? That could still be something to look into. And of course, retail, healthcare, travel. One thing I did want to highlight too, especially as it relates to political, because we've even started hearing some of our partners say, gosh, we've had some clients not want to be, running a ton of marketing right now because it's political and they don't, they're unsure about what's going to happen. I tell you what, no matter what happens with the election's going to come and go, done and done. Business continues, right? Business is going to continue. People still need cars. They still need financial services. They need healthcare. That's not going away. I just think about like what happened during COVID when we had a lot of advertisers go, oh gosh, we want to hold on to everything. We're a little nervous. We don't know how things are going to unfold. It is our job as those local media specialists, right? Whether we're newspapers, we're even agencies, we're broadcasters, we have to be that guiding light for SMBs, right? If they've got to continue those marketing efforts because life and business continues as well. And just like we saw with COVID, those advertisers who kept on through during that time, they came out of it incredibly successful, right? Because there's always still a need from a consumer standpoint. So something just to think about if you have advertisers going, oh, I just don't know. Tell them, well, I know it's going to be important for your business to continue your marketing efforts. All right, I'm off my soapbox. there that is. Brooke mentioned earlier too, industry guides. So, okay, we've got these categories. That's great. Now what? What about these categories? How can we learn a little bit more about what's happening? Maybe the seasonality of some of these categories, when they're spending, how they're planning, maybe things that are impacting the industry. Maybe it's imports and exports, recruitment. Who knows? We've actually developed a lot of fantastic industry guides from finance and healthcare and automotive and retail and home services that have this kind of information. So it can be that guiding light for you as our partner. Take a look at this for financial industries. We're actually in the uptick right now of spend and growth that they're going to experience Q4. Right? We still kind of see it in January, but then you see it tapers off. And then, of course, we get back into tax season and then it spikes right up. Healthcare, cold and flu season, people getting vaccines, travel vaccines. I already mentioned open enrollment. That is here, right? Cold weather injury. People are, we're in Colorado. People are going to be snowboarding and skiing and all the things. So this is another kind of awareness piece in terms of industries to target. Make sure that you're able to tap into these kinds of guides or insights that can help create great conversation pieces with your advertiser and really help formulate a strategy based on what they're trying to achieve with their marketing budget. And that kind of parlays beautifully, into, okay, we have these tools, we've looked at their Facebook page, we've checked out their website, we gave them this fantastic audit, we have great information from an audience insight report about their competitors' demographic overview. We now understand the categories that are really going to benefit right now in terms of marketing. Now what? Right? How do we put it all together from a solution standpoint? So it's really going back to understanding the product mix. And here it is. I told you that we were going to show you again, because we always show this, but it's that crucial, right? This sales funnel should really be front and center on every sales desk across America, in my opinion, right? We've got to make sure that we are not just shooting one thing, right? Silver bullet and calling it a day with our advertisers. With the data that we're collecting from these tools and resources, with the data that our clients are sharing with us about their business, about their pain points, about what they're trying to achieve with their dollars, we need to then look at this funnel right here and say, okay, based on the information that I collected and that I heard, this is really where I see the solutions coming into play based on that customer sales journey, right? So think about, I'm thinking about my own personal example. I just had to get a new car because I had hail damage back on Mother's Day for my car, and it was pretty bad hail damage. So I had to find a really great, automotive services dealer, and I was doing what? What do we do when we need to find something? Brooke, what do we do? We
We
Google it.
go online.
Go online, right? We go online, we Google that stuff. So here I am searching for, automotive services, hail damage, trying to find any sort of reputable place, close to my house. After I started doing that search, I started seeing ads come up, and one of them was Caliber Collision. So if anyone's here in the Denver market, and that's maybe a client of yours, hopefully it is, because man, they got my attention and they ended up getting my business as well. You all, this is very, very, very relative to how we operate in our lives, right? We're going from one place and branding and awareness all the way down to then finally making that decision. So it's making sure we're, again, marrying the right products, whether it's display, SEO, SEM, whatever it is, marrying the right products that align with what the client's trying to achieve. And you don't have to do that alone either. That's why bringing in the experts, remember that's what we do. That's what your digital partner, whoever that is, that's what they should be doing as well. And guess what? These always should be complementing also what you're doing with your core, because there is no silver bullet. You can't just have newspaper. You can't just have radio. You can't just have digital. You can't just have television. You got to have a mix and match these solutions working in tandem together. And we want to make sure we're complementing what you're already bringing to your client in terms of your owned and operated assets. When we think about that combination, right? And some people think, okay, well, I've got my core. I'm going to run it, let's say it's a broadcast schedule. We're going to run a broadcast schedule. Oh, and I threw in some digital. I threw in some banner ads, right? Some programmatic targeted display. Okay, that's great. That is good, right? We are extending the reach. We're connecting with the target audience. But if the client also is wanting to maximize branding and awareness, because that's what those two products are, this slide here, and this is based on our data here at Accelerant, this is telling us that we need to look at additional solutions, right? Additional branding and awareness solutions that are going to help amplify the client's message to that target audience, because it also helps with retention. This is also going to help set you up as a seller for success. So you don't have to keep going back to the table and needing to win that business again and again. You've already won that business because you've gone through the process that we're talking about here. You've put together that strategy. You've added in multiple solutions. And now we're learning from the data and everything working together, right? To then renew that business again. So think about it that way too. Adding digital is incredibly important, right? That's going to help you help your client. It's going to help everything, but it's not just adding digital to add digital. You've got to make sure you're looking at the appropriate solutions and several of them, right? Because that's going to help you retain and win that business again. Last slide here before I kick it back over to Brooke. These are some examples, that we have here at Accelerant in terms of, okay, when we're thinking about awareness, when we're thinking about conversions, this is kind of a different way to look at that sales funnel. What are the products that we should use? When your client's telling you, hey, I need to make sure my phone's ringing and I'm setting appointments and I'm getting people coming into my place of business, the register's ringing, that's conversion, right? That is low funnel, that is conversions. So we should naturally think about, okay, local SEO, right? So that goes perfectly into what Brooke was talking about earlier. What does their Google business profile look like? Does it have all the right information when people are searching for their products and services online? That's a conversion-based product. What about organic SEO? What's happening on their website? What about search engine marketing? So these are conversion-based tactics. And then it sets up the appropriate client and AE expectations for the campaign, right? No one's guessing. No one's trying to put a display campaign and then saying that that's going to deliver the conversions that the client's looking for. So this is incredibly important when we talk about setting performance expectations. That again helps with campaign renewals and retention. You've got to make sure that everyone's on the same page with what the campaign is going to be doing and how we're going to be measured for success. Speaking of success, these next few slides kind of take it down another notch in terms of, it sounds complicated, but it's not, right? We can make this really easy in terms of turnkey packages, product blends, even based on category that are working really well. Brooke, give us some details into these next few slides on, how we put together some of these packages and what they're doing for our partners in terms of, taking the bigger bite of digital.
Yes, thanks, Elizabeth. And one thing I want to really hone in on is that whole 3 product, minimum that really makes you have double the amount of retention. I think that, we say metrics a lot in digital, but like anything that's going to make you 2 times more likely to retain a campaign, I think is definitely worth mentioning. It's worth focusing on, and, definitely like going into calls being like, hey, let me get in different parts of the funnel here, which is kind of where we went with these healthcare, to start us off with these healthcare bundles. So we have bundles just like this for all different types of industries. And all of them, again, are backed by, our team members who are going, looking at what is working in each of these particular industries. So it's not, they're all different. They're not, nothing random is here. It's all backed by, again, that industry analysis. And these product bundle recs are meant for you to, say, hey, we have this industry research, and go directly and show your clients. So you'll see for this one, there's 4 different options just based on different client investments. And these are going to be what works well right now in the healthcare industry. And you'll see here, we actually have pricing on there to make it easier for you. If this pricing aligns with your pricing, take this right to your client. It's almost like an even better version of good, better, best. We have the basic, better, good, and premium. And as you see there on that premium, that's got 4 products in it. So that's if they really want to go for that multi-funnel, which we see the most success in. Now, on the next slide, we also can do these product bundles, and they're already ready for you without the pricing on there. If you just kind of want it for the types of products that they are, and you kind of see how much parts of the pie each one product has, then do it without pricing. Again, you got that basic through premium, and this is going to be for restaurant bundles, what's working well in those restaurant industry businesses. And then finally, you'll see how this restaurant is a little bit different than this healthcare bundle. So when you're looking at these pies, this healthcare premium is going to have a lot more email involved. A lot of, lots of different reasons for that, but also you're going to have that targeted display, device ID, local SEO, and even that better right there does have that three product mix that we always see the most success with. And all of them are going to lead back to noticing that multi-funnel approach package is always going to be beneficial for your client. Even if they just have, 2 products, it's always going to be that best option. And then finally, to top it off when it comes to reporting, we do have that conversion pipeline on the next slide that's actually just in our reporting dashboard, always available. And this is going to highlight that need for branding and awareness, and really tells a story of how you go from impressions to then clicks and then to conversions, and also really reiterates how every part of the funnel is important to your clients. And then finally, we're cruising right along here. We're gonna actually finish off with, or kind of dive in deeper, into post-sale must-haves, which is still a huge part of not leaving money on the table, is still that post-sale experience. So the first thing we are going to talk about, I'm so excited, is pixel placement. So pixel placement is a huge deal here at Accelerant. We care about it a lot. And why is this? Because pixels allow us to track conversions and real-time optimizations, and are basically pieces of code that are placed on the site to, again, help us track these conversions. They allow us to follow the customer journey and the story, which is a topic I know we've been chatting about a lot. Again, to really follow that storyline and even re-engage with people who were on the site using retargeting. So that's already going to be very, the people we want to get in front of, people who've already been to our website or your client's website. Now, this is huge. And again, I said how much I love metrics. Clients who have their programmatic products with a pixel place are going to be 50% more likely to renew. And I know when renewals come along, it's always like, oh, what can we do? So this is already setting you up for renewal success. And 50%, again, a very staggering statistic. So we will always make sure to help you to make sure that pixel is placed, that it's firing correctly, so that you have that best chance of renewal. And then I think at that point, there's going to be, with that pixel placement, that's going to bleed into our reporting, which will definitely kind of continue to talk about the story as well as those conversions that we're tracking. So, Elizabeth, you want to dive more into post sale?
Yeah. The last slides here, just to echo Brooke, all tied to the transparent data and analytics, right? Why we really do digital. It's for these insights. It's for this information. This report here, I adore. It's actually tied to our historical geofencing solution, Device ID, and it's foot traffic attribution report, especially for your brick and mortar clients that are looking to have, see an influx of people come into their place of business. Maybe it's an open house, maybe it's a grand opening. Maybe this is just a part of their, their natural, marketing strategy is just making sure people are coming into their place of business, not just going always to their website. This is a fantastic solution because it does give you, again, that data and analytics, because we're using location-based data to actually drive this. So we were able to put fences around conquesting zones. So this particular client, they wanted to put virtual fences around their competitors, serve ads to people who, of course, went into those points of location. But then the conversion zone was their place of business, right? That's where they were looking at the foot traffic. So this can be an incredibly powerful report to review because it also can help you really strategize, right, from a location-based standpoint. All right, who are we going to be targeting when we think about our competitors, but also maybe demographically? How can we layer in some of these other elements to create the best strategy for our client? And again, continue to go after that entire budget. This could also be used for a recruitment strategy, right? Not just marketing, not just for brands, for products and or services. This could be used also for even a recruitment strategy. So something to think about. And of course, transparent reporting in and of itself. Hopefully you guys have a dashboard, a beautiful and wonderful pedestrian user-friendly dashboard that you can access 24/7. I hope you do, fingers crossed. If you do not and you are working with somebody else, please give Brooke or myself a call or an email. The proof is in the pudding. We've said this several times here. It's one of my favorite sayings. You've got to have this data, this information to share with your client, right? This is also going to help you win that renewal, retain that business, grow that business. It's learnings, right? How is maybe the industry evolving? How is this client's business evolving? We're able to learn that from the analytics from these digital campaigns. And furthermore, you want to make sure too that these campaigns are also managed by people, right? That they're hands-on, the buttons and the levers, and they're really optimizing to ensure campaign performance, right? The dashboard is going to be incredibly powerful, also even as a sales technique. So this was something too that we've started to see with some of our partners. They've used like the reporting summary, just high-level details to share with other clients because it's like a case study, right? It's that proof of performance. So transparent reporting, that ties, everything up, right? And sets you up as the seller to help win that business again and grow that business. So in final wrap up, look at this, guys. We're going to give you a lot of time back in your day. I am glad because it's Q4 and we're all selling. It is time to make money before the end of the year. But the table is yours. And I think that's just something to pause right there. You have all of the tools, the resources, the support that you need, hopefully. If not, like I said, give me a call, but you should have that available to you from a sales standpoint so you can win that entire budget from your client. You want to lean into those tools. You want to tap into that data, right? You want to use it to create that story. people do business in stories. We're not just robots talking about products and this is how it works and here's your analytical result. We talk about it in stories and what it means to me and what it means to a client. And there's that personal connection at all times, right? People working with people. So please be sure you are continuing to lean into people, right? Lean into those tools and resources, checking out those industry trends, doing your own research, right? What's happening in the HVAC industry? What's happening in the restaurant industry? What's recruitment like right now? Shoot, is it still kind of crazy? That creates great discussion points as well with your clients. The right products, obviously, the right solution mix, and creating turnkey packages, those are just gonna, that's just arming you to be that much more successful, right? And making it easy for your clients to, open up all their marketing solutions to you, right? Or their marketing needs, I should say, to you. And you want to make it stick, right? We don't want to be transactional in our process or in our thoughts or in our approach to digital, right? Transactional business, that's great to have. That shouldn't be how we roll in terms of our business model. We want that consultative approach. We want incremental gains from our clients. We want those renewals, and that ties back to the reporting, to the data, to the insights, and continuing to grow that business month over month, quarter over quarter, year over year. Because remember, you are a marketer, not a product pitcher, right? And especially now, that resonates so much with local SMBs. They get a ton of us calling them all day, every day, pitching product. Stand out, go for all that revenue on the table, be a marketer, be consultative, leverage your resources, and win the business. Brooke, close us out. Any other final thoughts that you might have?
I guess my final thought that almost goes back into how people say always be closing. It's use the pre-sale tools, the audits, leverage the people, leverage the data, and keep it going through the post-sale. There's so many different steps to make sure that you are never leaving money on the table from the beginning all the way to after the sale.
Love, love. That is fantastic. We did get one question. Someone wants to learn more about our dashboard. Absolutely. It says from an anonymous attendee, feel free to give either Brooke or myself a call or an email. Here's our email address. Would love to hear from you. Happy to share more insights into the dashboard. Thank you all for joining us. If there are not any other questions, we're going to give you back, what is that? 17 minutes, 18 minutes back in your day. Cheers to a great week. Brooke, thank you. This was fun. This was a lot of fun. And we'll see you all later. Happy selling.
Thank you. Bye.